Welcome to the second part of my 25-year challenge with the Hunnic Empire in the TheFallenEagle mod. Due to the last lost civil war, the Hunnic Empire has lost a lot of influence and power. The situation is serious, but there's still hope, and so welcome to the game I can't control. Caught in 3 wars, the situation was serious, but fortunately I still had 15 years before I had to leave the game again. Thankfully, the new location of my capital brought with it some strategic advantages, and I was able to feed off the attackers. My next step was to attack my rebellious vassals and peasants. But while I was conquering the capital of my vassals, I realized that it was impossible to win the war against Transylvania. The defeat was painful, but bearable, because I could now concentrate on the other 2 wars, in which I had much more to lose. I made rapid progress, and finally I was able to emerge victorious against Carthage. And in the next few years of peace, the stabilization of the empire was my first priority. But the peace was broken by another attack on me, by none other than a former vassal of the Western Roman Empire. 10,000. Are you freaking kidding me? The question is if I'm trying to defend that, or... There is no way I can win that, right? There is just no way. Due to my still weakened army, I surrendered. Next, I conquered a small tribe north of my empire. I had 4 years left until I had to leave the game again. My plan now was to get as many alliances as possible to protect the empire while I was in observe mode. And I succeeded in this plan. Yes! Oh my god, there's no way. Now I had the Sassanid Empire on my side, and with it the strongest empire in the world. I had hoped for the first time that my empire could survive my absence without losses. And after a short while the time had come. Switch character. Observe. And here we fucking go. I had to hope that my empire would not fall apart again. However, it did not take long before there was another civil war. Now, it had to be seen how well the Sassanids could help me. Time passed, and the next time I checked on the war, I was relieved to see that my plan had worked. The civil war was won, and with time my armies recovered more and more. But with the death of the Sassanid ruler, the alliance broke, and again a civil war broke out. Oh no. But even without the Sassanid support, my empire was able to defend itself. And so I did not lose a single piece of land in the 25 years of my absence. Slowly but surely, the old strength and power of the empire returned. My army slowly recovered, and I prepared myself for major wars that would lead the empire back to its former glory and strength. Especially the fact that TheR had gained so much power did not please me at all, because I knew how exhausting these people could be. I also tried to negotiate a second alliance with the Sassanids. This should also serve as a protection for me, as we shared 2 borders. I also increased my men-at-arms to further strengthen my armies. I was just thinking about whether I want to expand when I suddenly received the declaration of war from Turkey. They were only a small tribe, but still vastly superior to me. If I lost this war, it would surely be the end to the empire. I just couldn't explain where they got the huge army. How is it possible that they have 17,000 men? This? You gotta be kidding me, where is the rest of it? This little thing has 17,000 men. How is it possible? But that was not all. Kargan Alsek was murdered, and his son, Kano, was appointed the next Khan. This was disastrous, because now my army was only half as big, and my vassals didn't like me at all. But I still managed to ally myself with the Sassanids. Yes, an alliance with the Sassanids. Oh. I had to give everything to protect the empire. Fortunately, a small part of the enemy army had moved away from the main force, and I was able to inflict the first casualties on the enemy. But even When I met their main force, I was able to crush it. But since Kaghan was still quite fresh on the throne and did not have much time to bring stability to the empire, another civil war broke out. Now I had a certain amount of time to win the war against Turkey as quickly as possible in order to return early enough to defeat my vassals as well. Due to my decisive victories, I was able to win the war against Turkey. Now my armies were heading back home. I was able to win the first battle right away, but I clearly lost the second confrontation, and the majority of my armies were undersupplied. Since my armies were still weakened from the defeat, I decided to occupy my enemy's territories first. But suddenly my allies got into huge trouble. Rome had declared war on them, and they had to withdraw parts of their forces from my country. Indirectly, this was also my first confrontation with Rome. Bit by bit, I occupied more cities of my enemy vassals, and was thus able to decide the war in my favor. Next, I helped the Sassanid Empire win the war against Rome. Once that was done, I brought back my armies and prepared to reconquer my lost territories.